Hi friends! Today I'm going to show you how you can use formula field for your UI experience improvement. Besides the obvious way we use formulas to calculate something, you can use it to improve your Salesforce pages to make them more useful and friendly. So let's go to our example application. We have this Salesforce school application we created in the first video. And we have this lessons students object and junction object student lesson, which represents assignment a student to a lesson or a lesson to a student. Let's open this object list view. We can only see the reference to student and reference to the lesson. And if we go to detail page, we can see the same student identifier and lesson identifier. Not much informative. If we go to student record, open any student, and we go to related tab, we can see the lessons assigned to the students. We want to see the lessons assigned, but we only can see the references to these lessons, Unit 4, Unit 3. And that's it, not much informative at all. So let's fix this situation with formula field. Let's switch to development mode and we go to the object manager and we're gonna work with junction object, student lessons. Let's use our search box to find this object. Open it and we'll create some formula field. We go to fields and relationship, new, and here we select formula type. Next, first we will create formula in our obvious usage, as I told you, to calculate something. We name it duration, and guess what would this formula show? Yes, it would show how many days student passes a lesson. It's gonna be a number and no decimal points as it's counted in days. So we put 0 here, click next. And here we have two tabs, simple formula and advanced formula. Simple formula gives us not much options and not much operators. So we select advanced formula. And how do we calculate this duration? Of course, we need to subtract end date and start date fields. End date, we put minus just manually or select as an operator. And again, we select this record student lesson and select start date field, just subtraction of 2 days. This is the simple calculation formula I mentioned before we used to use formula fields for. Let's check syntax. It says all fine. Next. Leave visibility by default. And by default, this new field is already included in this object record page. We save it. And let's check how it looks in the user interface. We go to our student lesson tab and let's customize this list view, select fields to display. We're gonna add duration to the fields list. Save it, and yes, can we see it's immediately calculated. Records where we have start and end dates, for them this number is calculated in days, how many days each student requires for each lesson. But let's return to our main topic. And let's see how else we can use formula fields. Here we can see only student identifier, we don't know who is it. And here we can see only lesson identifier and we don't know what is the lesson about. So this assignment record page is not informative. We're gonna fix this with formula. And here we're gonna create a couple of formula fields mirroring our relationships. Let's call it student name. It returns text. Go to advanced formula, insert field, our record, and in the fields list we can see the student, right? The student is lookup relationship we created before. Check it. And as its object, we can access here to all the students' fields. We select first name. Now put plus, space plus, and the same way we select student last name. Here it is. This formula would mirror our student last name and first name. And don't be afraid that you multiply in the same entity. It's not like you're duplicating these fields. You just mirroring. You just put the mirror where you need it to show it as many times as you need. And the only place to edit it is still student record. That's fine. Click Next, visibility as it is. And put it to the page layout. Save. Save and new. And the same way we're gonna add some information about lesson. The same way, formula. Next, we name it lesson title. We want to see the lesson title, but not only the lesson identifier, which doesn't say us anything. It's gonna return text. Again, advanced formula. Again, select the current record and select this lesson reference. Access lesson fields. It's gonna be unit title. Yeah, we're mirroring lesson title from the related lesson records here. We're not duplicating it. Save it, add it to the page layout, save it, and let's check what we have now. Let's return to our application, to our user mode. Let's refresh this student lessons page. And again, we're gonna customize the list view. Select students to display. We're gonna add newly created formulas. Student name we add here and lesson title. Add here. Save. Here we are. What we can see now. Yes, for each record of student lesson pair, we now can see the duration first we created, and we can see the student full name, right? Not only this identifier, and we can see the lesson title. But let's bring them together. It would be more useful for us using this arrow. Put student name near the student identifier, and put the lesson title also near lesson identifier to keep them grouped. Save it. Yeah, here's our list view final look. So we can see student identifier, we can click and dive into student card, and we can see right here the full student name. And the same with the lesson. Do you see how our junction object student lesson interface became more informative? Now let's go to students. We're gonna open a student record, student card, and we're gonna go to related. What we expect to see him, all the lessons assigned to these students. But what we can see, again, only lesson identifier, which doesn't say us anything about the lesson student passes. The same way as if we open any lesson related, we expect to see a list of assigned students, but again we can see only a list of students identifier, which doesn't say us anything. Let's again fix this with our created formulas. All we need is update this page layout, lesson page layout and student page layout. Let's go to Object Manager, and first we're gonna find student object. Open student object, and we need to click page layouts, open existing page layouts, and here we can see the sections, field section, which displays fields on student page. But what we're interested in is related list section. And click it, and page scroll down, we can see related lists added to the record page. And here the only record list is student lessons. And we're gonna customize it, click on this icon. We have only the references here, and we're gonna add our new formulas to this list. We find lesson title and add it. Okay. And let's add stages, also informative, to make this list view more informative. Okay, and don't forget to save the updated record page layout. Now the same way, we're gonna go to lesson object. We're gonna open page layouts. Open the page layout. Again, we find related list section. And we can see student lessons related lists. We have some other fields here, and date, start date, and student reference, only student identifier. We want to see a student name here for sure. We add it using this arrow, put it forward near the student reference. Okay. Don't forget to save layout. And that's it. Now let's return to our user mode. Let's open some student page related tab, right? And what can we see here? Yeah, finally we can see not only the lesson identifier but the lesson title, so we know which lesson is assigned to this student and what is this lesson about. Cool. And the same way, let's go to lessons. Let's open any lesson, and on the related tab we expect to see the list of students passing this lesson. Yeah, now we can see the student identifier, and near it we can see the student full name. It's just shown from the student object. Let's open another one where we have several students like this. Yes, the full student list with their names and the last names. Cool enough. Do you agree that formula can make pages more informative?